Good morning. It is Monday, August 19th, and today I have what sold over the weekend for you, as well as a special request I've gotten multiple times that will come at the end of this video, which is how to use Oneshop. If you're not familiar with Oneshop, it is a tool kind of like List Perfectly that you can use, but it lists simultaneously on up to 4 platforms so that you don't have to cross list. It also does a bunch of other things, including sending offers and shares and relisting. But today I'm just going to focus on how to list an item to post it to 4 platforms, as well as how to use the assistant. And I'll talk more about that at the end of this video. So those of you who aren't interested, you can just watch the main part of the video and not watch the conclusion of that. So welcome to my channel. My name is April and I'm a part-time reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and then every once in a while I'll make a sale on Curtsy. And today I have what sold over the weekend. I shipped last Saturday morning. So Saturday and Sunday up until this morning, it's like 7 o'clock. I got to get moving because I have a chiropractor appointment at 8. I had 24 total sales. Now 2 of them on eBay aren't paid yet, and I'll show those to you. Okay, 24 total sales. Now 15 of those on eBay, 6 on Poshmark, 2 on Depop, and 1 on Mercari. So Depop taking the lead this week over Mercari. So let's just go ahead and get going with these sales, okay? I'll let you know where I got it, about how much I paid for it, although I do average my cost of goods at right now it's currently $3.58, but I do need to do July paperwork, which will change that. It's a running cost of goods for the entire year. I just use a Google shared Excel sheet, and it tallies it for me. So let's get going, okay? All right, let's get going. So this tie Beanie Baby, it's the Zuma Paw Patrol Chocolate Lab. It's 10-inch, it's a stuffy, and this sold for $9.94, and the buyer pays shipping. Now these stuffies are like 50 cents to $1 depending at my local Salvation Army, so that's what I got it for. All right. Coldwater Creek necklace. This blue stone pendant dangled charm necklace sold for $8.50. This came in a lot of jewelry that I bought on an online Goodwill auction. You can go online to the Goodwill online site and you can bid on auctions. I like to buy the Chicos or Stella and Dot, Juicy Couture. There's some things that I usually buy. I have a lot of jewelry right now that I'm actually trying to list, so haven't bought any recently. But I probably paid $1 for that, and I'm sure I did not buy it for Coldwater Creek. But Coldwater Creek does actually sell, as long as you're aware it's not going to sell for a ton. This Christian Dior tie, it's vintage. It's the Christian Dior Bonjour line, which I'll show you. Came in a Helpsy accessory palette, which I don't think they have still. It's a nice kind of like a nautical style, chain link style. This sold for $15 and the buyer paid shipping. This Zara skirt came from my friend Heather. She sends boxes. They're not really quite mystery, but they are reseller boxes, and she gives you an idea of exactly what you're going to buy. I love it because Heather also gives you a lot of times the comps right in the comments. This is a Facebook group. If you're interested, Heather is open to people joining her Facebook group to buy these boxes. She ships from the New England area, and she is wonderful. So this sold only for $15, which is okay. My average cost of goods for Heather's box that day, I do have an unboxing. I believe this is in that unboxing, but don't quote me. But I believe that was $7. Now I'm going to stay on with Heather because I also got this from Heather. This is a Ted Baker blouse. Now it's only, it's not silk, which if it had been silk, it would have sold for more. I think it's polyester, to be honest, which is kind of crazy that Ted Baker's putting that out. Yeah, polyester. This sold for $33.97 with an extra 20% off, a floral pleated 3/4 sleeve chiffon blouse. Okay, medium. This bra I have actually shown you already last week. It finally got paid for over the weekend, so this really sold last week. And this Victoria's Secret Body by Victoria, that line is actually a really good line, sold for $25. Now I do promote my listings, so okay, what else have we got? This Obermeyer jacket, I'm pretty sure came in my last Mixed Women's Rescue boxes. This was missing the hood, but it still sold for $69.98 with an extra 20% off. These Disney pants I got locally. They're a pull-on style from a woman who was selling some items, a woman that I'm a colleague at work. I am a teacher, and they sold for $34.97. And again, they paid shipping. This next item, which I don't even know where it is. Here it is. It's already in a bag, but I'll put it over there for you. These were returned and sold again within just days. This brand is St. John. That's not helping you. But it's a crepe Moroccan flat front pant in a size 10, and it sold for $50. All right, and this is a sterling silver jewelry lot. Now, I have a ton of jewelry left over from Helpsy accessory palette, and I just went ahead and listed all of this sterling jewelry, some of it mismatched, for $100, and it sold with 20% off. So my all-in total for this person was $91.57 with shipping. Last but not least, oh no, two other things here. This Betsy Johnson necklace, I got retail arbitrage. I paid $6 for it. Betsy Johnson is a good style to pick up. And that sold on an offer to me. Actually, I think I sent an offer and they countered for $24. And then last, this came from an online Goodwill auction. I bought some watches. I do like to sell watches, but these were all broken. So I listed them for repairs, and they sold for $25. I had them listed for $30, and somebody asked me to send an offer, so I sent a $25 offer. Broken watches, guys, for $25. Okay, now I hear the dogs barking, so I'm going to take a little break here, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I believe that's all the sold items. So what was purchased but not paid for on Poshmark, eBay, two items. A Stella and Dot necklace that came from from a friend, a local friend. If you've been watching my videos, I've talked about that. She sold me about 100 items for $200. And that sold, oh, I didn't write it down, but I believe that sold for $16. Then these bird dog shorts, men's shorts, bird dogs. These are a really good brand, guys. So keep your eyes open. These sold within 30 days. I picked these up in about 2 hours away. I went for a doctor's appointment. I love to claim the mileage when I go to these specialist appointments. So I claimed the miles. I picked up I didn't pick up a ton of things. Prices have been a lot in more bigger areas for us here in New York. But I think my average cost of goods that day was around $7, and these sold for $25, and they're men's small. So bird dogs, there's the bird dogs on the back. It actually says bird dogs, and it says boom small classic for your boom stick, and then it says birddogs.com. So there you go. Those have been paid for. Hopefully they get paid for soon. Okay. All right, moving on over to Poshmark. 6 sales. I sold J. Crew. I do like selling J. Crew jewelry. I've had this for quite a while, maybe a year. A chunky chain link gold tone necklace, vintage inspired and statement I used. That sold for $24. No shipping discount. None of these have shipping discounts, so I do use Posher VA to send offers on Poshmark. I know I could use One Shop to do that, but I do use Posher VA. Sometimes I turn offers off and I send them myself manually. I use Posher VA still for something that One Shop doesn't do, which is send bulk offers, which I really like to do on Poshmark. You can send bulk offers, and then you can do a waterfall sale, which I'm not going to go into depth about that, but if you're interested in learning a little bit more about what a waterfall sale is, you can comment, and I can talk to that a little bit in my next video. Okay, this vintage Kole Kole, which is the name of the brand, floral off-shoulder Hawaiian dress, a large. Let me show you this label. Now it was a paper label, and that's your first clue that it is vintage. It says made in the USA. When you look at the printing on it, that's another clue that it is vintage. So I'm just holding that up. If you're working, you can take a look. Okay, that printing is a pretty good indicator that it is vintage. The way that type looks there underneath in the light blue. Now this did have a couple stains on it that were definitely hard to see. All disclosed in the listing. So here's one right here, just to show you so you'll know how these are valued. You can see the stain right here. There was another one. I'm not going to bother finding that. But it still sold for $22 despite having multiple stains. This Victoria's Secret bandeau top, I have no idea where I got it. I know I've had it a while, but it sold on an offer to me for $11. And it's a 34C. I don't know. This must have come in a lot. I wouldn't have bought this by itself unless it's so old. I bought it when I first started because I made a lot of bad choices, I would say, when I first started reselling, which I think is normal for all of us. It's a trial and error. This you can't see, so I'm not going to hold that up, but you'll see it on the side. It's a Yandy. So Yandy is a brand that sells lingerie. It sells costumes. I bought a bulk lot. Actually, scratch that. I bought costumes last year from Helpsy, and they sent me a bunch of lingerie. So I reached out to their customer service, which, by the way, Helpsy customer service is amazing. And I just said, you know, you sent me X many pieces of lingerie and not costumes. Is there anything you can do? And they sent me costumes and told me to keep the lingerie. So I sold it. That sold for $12, new without tags, just because, I mean, it's in the bag, and it has this tag, but it doesn't have tags attached to it. Now I'm realizing I forgot to show you something on eBay, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit and show this to you. This Vera Bradley book bag I got in a Ben's trip to Rochester, New York. I live about 4 hours away, but I went with my daughter. We spent like 3 or 4 days together. I do have a friend that lives there, so I've gone on a Ben's trip again and visited her. But I got this there. I don't remember the price, but I think it's $1.29 per pound. It had a patch. It has wear. You can see that wear up that hole right there. All disclosed. But it is a bag that you can put your computer into. And it still sold for $18.50 despite the wear on eBay, and they paid shipping. So sorry about that. Moving back on over to Poshmark. This is actually a really expensive brand retail, Calypso St. Bart. I've had this since COVID, 2019. Now, during COVID is when I started reselling like a little bit more seriously. I had sold one time before that to raise money for a trip that my fiance and I took to the Dominican. And I just sold stuff from her house. But during COVID, I was bored out of my mind as a teacher. I still had to do work as a teacher, but I just had so much extra time. I went through all of our stuff here at our house and sold it. And then I went online to find some groups that I could buy from, and people were selling their death piles. So I got this in one of those. I think my average cost of goods that year was $6. I wasn't as good at bookkeeping as I am now, but this only sold for $19, and I've had it for like 5 years. It's silk. I'm so happy that it's gone. I can't even begin to tell you. One more Yandy piece. Again, this came in that Helpsy lot, so I didn't pay anything for it. This, I actually was lucky. I had a couple of these that I got, so I just used the same listing and just duplicated it. And this sold for $17, studded faux red leather strappy costume in tie top, extra small, and I use other terms like cosplay, bedroom play, stuff like that. Okay, moving on to Depop. 2 sales there. I have had so many offers on these boots. This brand is Franco Sarto, not a brand I would normally pick up, but I did pick it up because of the style. So it's got a lot of like Western feel. Not a lot of like, but it has a Western feel. I use that word. I use the word harness. Okay, it is a leather boot, and it's sold for $27.20, and the buyer is paying $10 to ship those. I think I got those locally at a Salvation Army. And then this is a Greek fisherman cap. It's vintage, and I'm going to show you how I know. So you can see that right in there. Now, there's also this little sticker here, which would be an inspection sticker. That marking there is an indicator that it's vintage. And this sold for $20, and I make $14.96, and they pay for shipping. Last but not least, one sale on Mercari. They paid $18 for the Stella and Dot bracelet that came in that same lot I mentioned. Now, what's nice about Mercari is they're going to completely pay all of the other things. I make $18. So it sold for $18, I make $18. So if you're not cross-listing or using some kind of listing assistant or listing yourself to Mercari, you should be, and Oneshop will allow you to do that. Now, speaking of Oneshop, this part of the video is over. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Oneshop, there's also a code for Oneshop in the description. It's analytical. It gives you a lot of details. I'm not going to go into depth on that, but I will talk a little bit to how to list, how easy it is, as well as how to list if you want to use an assistant. So stay tuned for that. That is coming next. Thanks everybody for joining me for this portion of today's video. I appreciate you. I've hit over 1,000 subscribers, and I am so grateful. That was one of my goals this year. I'm so grateful for all of your support. So thanks so much. Stay tuned if you are interested in one. We're in my drafts, and I went ahead on the top left-hand corner and clicked list an item, which I know was quick, so you might have to go back and take a look. I'm selecting the photos that I want to list. I can choose them one at a time or in a group by clicking the little circle to the right. Now down here, you can see I can choose the 4 different sites I'd like to list to. Now I'm double checking my pictures. If I want to move one, rearrange things, I can, or delete things. Now you do have to add your different websites that your platforms that you sell on to that. So here I clicked into the title, and I'm adding the title, Vintage Banana Republic. You can see me typing it. And underneath that, where I am typing, you can see it's populating onto the 4 platforms that I am going to be listing to. Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and Depop. Now on Depop, there aren't any titles. So what you have to do is copy and paste your title into your description, because that's what appears in Depop. So you can see I'm adding my title here, trying to use all 80 spaces. I'm going to copy it, like I said, for Depop, and I'm going to paste it into the description. And then I'm going to click the back button and go up and fill in the other things, like my price. So that's the next thing I fill in. And you can see I put the price in at the top, and it allows me to change the price for each site. And I usually go lower on Mercari because there's no seller fees, and Depop a little bit more. Now I'm going to choose my brand, and it automatically populates your title. So you can actually just click Banana and Republic, and it pops it up, and you can select it. But you also, like I'm doing right now, can type it in if it didn't appear. Now it will automatically populate into those 4 platforms what it thinks you want, and you can just click on it. Same thing with category. I'm going to type in scarf here, but along the top you just saw in gray, those are my most commonly used categories, so it leaves it up there for faster selection. And I typed in scarves, and it did pop up, but I'm just going to show you how I might go and get a scarf by going into women's clothing, accessories, and choosing that. Now again, it populates into the platforms what it thinks you want, and you can click on it or you can change it by clicking on the platform. Now I'm adding the size. I do know the size is 32 by 70. If you're doing clothing and it's a small, you just click small and it would populate that for you. You've got to choose your condition, and I chose pre-owned. And my colors, you get to choose up to 2. Now I'm back into the description, and I'm just putting in whatever I normally would add for a listing if I'm doing it on my own. You know, the main details that you would include: your fabric, your pattern, any other pertinent details. This is dry clean only. Your measurements, I always add smoke-free home also. I do add measurements to everything. And then when I'm done with this, I'm just going to hit the back button and it'll automatically save. You only have to click save if you see the save button, and I believe that's only on the title and the weight. Speaking of weight, let's go ahead and decide what we want to do. Now you can see it's automatically on pounds all the way to the right there. I'm going to choose ounces. And I go to eBay, and I always have the buyer pay flat shipping, almost always anyway. And I realized I didn't show you international, so I pop back up there again so that you can see you can do international sales if you would like. If you don't, you just keep it off. If you want to do calculated shipping, you can choose that instead if you use eBay. I just don't use calculated anymore because I've been selling so long. I have a pretty good idea of what something weighs. I'm thinking this probably weighs about 11 ounces. You can change your, your choices for shipping on your other sites by clicking on them as I'm doing here. And then this is the advanced options. I always put in keywords. You can see I'm adding some keywords here: Oxford, preppy, holiday, whatever keywords you want. And the buyer will see that, but the buyer doesn't see some other things. And I realized I didn't show you that, like your cost of goods, if you want to add that, or if you add that, they don't see it, but if you add the retail price, they would see that. Now, you also need to include some other site-specific information, and it's usually only eBay. So if you go into eBay, you only have to really include a couple things. One, the actual type. I chose scarf. And then whether it's women's, men's, unisex, children, whatever. Now, on eBay, there are so many different additional things that you can do. And so I'm just scrolling down here to click 20 more options and showing you can add other things like your fabric, your style, your theme. I realized I think I made a mistake there, so I went back and fixed something. It's hard to see as I'm making this video. But you can add those other things if you'd like. I will just be honest and tell you I very rarely click the additional 20 options. I just don't do it. Maybe that makes me lazy. I'm not sure. I probably should, but in the spirit of saving time, I normally do not. But you can see I'm choosing your season. You can go through all of those on your own and explore them if you decide you want to try Oneshop. And basically, I am just showing you some of the other sites, what it looks like if you click on those site-specific information. Depop does have some additional things you can click if you would like. Kind of like eBay, but not as extensive. I don't click any of these usually either, but I'm clicking them here just to show you how easy it is. Okay. Now, this is if I'm doing my own listings, and when I'm all done, if I would like to schedule the listing, I can, and it'll drop. Kind of like on Poshmark, you can have a listing drop if you are making that. I don't know why I'm staying on the screen so long. I'm just reviewing here, making sure everything's like I like it. And I didn't show you, but on the bottom right-hand corner, I could have it drop. So now it is posting. Now I'm going to show you how to do an assistant listing. They do charge $1 if you want to have an assistant list. All you've got to do is in the title, put the word assistant. You do need to choose your condition. They don't know your condition. So I chose pre-owned. And then you need to put whether it's women's, men's, children, home, the condition, and then any other information you want them to include. I put no flaws with excellent. And then I always add smoke-free home. If there's something missing, like there's no materials tag or something, I would usually put no materials tag, but feels like, whatever, wool blend. And then really that's it. You can see there it says assistant, and then the assistant will help. Pretty simple to use Oneshop. You can use my code below. And hey everyone, here I am at the gym just finishing this video. Nobody's here, don't worry. So I want to just pop in, let you know, first of all, that scarf sold within a week, but those will be right there. But I want to let you know what benefits you have with Oneshop in case you do decide you wanted to try it out. So first of all, it is a 1 week free trial. And if you decide that you want to stick with it, you will get $10 off your first month. I believe it's $45 a month. There are a lot of benefits. It does share for you all through your phone. It does allow you to send an offer on Poshmark if you would like to. You can adjust your shipping. I can't think of what else right now off the top of my head. I should be able to, but my favorite thing about it is that you are able to post simultaneously to those 4 platforms. The other thing it does allow you to do is print all of your labels, except for eBay, all at one time if you're using one of those automatic label makers. That's what I use, the thermal printer. So that's kind of cool too, because I don't have to print one by one from Poshmark. It prints all my labels at one time. So just like any other platform, any other site, you know, assistants like List Perfectly or Vendoo, I used List Perfectly before. It does glitch. There's going to be, you know, issues with it, and they're going to have to fix it because technology changes, platforms change. They have to update with those platforms, but they're pretty receptive to those. Please feel free to put something in the comment section if you're wondering anything at all about Oneshop, and I will do my best to help you with that. So go ahead and you can just check out 1 week free and see if it's something that you're interested in. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining me for this video. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.